Are ya land virgin, and welcome to my channel. So when discussing your initial diplomatic situation, we will be going for the same three rivals as the nations that have rivaled us, namely Sunda, Siak, and Sambas. Alliance wise, you can get just one ally in Indrapura, but it doesn't matter, we actually don't want any allies as we don't need anybody. Next up, we're gonna go to the religious screen, and we have quite a few options here. I actually recommend that you go for the discipline with siege ability first, as you will need to use this in the first few wars. When it comes to your estates, summon the diet. Do not go for whichever agenda best suits you. Instead, go for whichever agenda you can do within the first month, as we will not have an estates mechanic after 1 month has passed. Because of that, give out the +1 military mana, Diplo and admin as well, Monopoly for the extra cash, private trade fleets for making our light ships cheaper to produce, and then build up 3 of these cheaper light ships, as well as sell titles for the 134 extra ducats. Now, because our mission here is to get 2 allies, and this is going to give us a Diplo rep +1, it's not something we can actually do, but none of the options that I had were doable within the first month, so don't think about that too much. We're going to start getting claims on our neighbors here, especially claims on Sambas, which has a gold mine, and on Jambi, which is right next to us. Palembang has some special missions that they got in the 1.31 update, but we're going to get even more missions after we become a pirate republic, and that is going to happen in a few moments. Before we do anything else, however, we're going to go back to the estates, and we are going to give out the patronage of the arts for the extra prestige, and we're going to recycle this a second time, give it out, get even more prestige, since it doesn't really make a difference, as we will actually lose the estates mechanic altogether. There you go, we got the event for the piracy in Palembang. Go for a pirate's life for me, which changes you to a pirate republic. Har darbar, you're a virgin pirate har. We also gonna have to choose our deity a second time, because we have a new ruler, Captain Menkteski Anwar. Because we're now a pirate republic, we got some pirate specific missions as well as the previous missions that we started off with. And because we don't have the estates, we don't need to worry about the debuffs that we would have gotten from them anyway. Since we want to have a strong fleet, I recommend that you go for the galley combat ability as your naval doctrine, since all of this is actually inland seas, which means that galleys have a boost when they fight in the Indonesian archipelago. After you've become a pirate nation, you can ally your former overlord of Majapahit, which is going to give you actually 1 stability and 20 prestige. Thus, we pretty much start with 50 prestige from the beginning of the game. Make sure you get your new decisions enacted as well. And our next goal is to get 100% naval force limit, so that we can get claims on the entirety of the Sumatran area. But most importantly, because we are pirates, we can raid the coastlines of everybody, no matter what religion. So we're gonna start doing that. 111 ducats and 1,800 sailors from this one tile, and we're gonna keep on going like this and raiding all of the surroundings. All the Indonesian archipelago is gonna be our oyster. The amount of money that we get from this is absolutely insane. Be careful, however, this will lower relations. You need to remember to do this every single time it is available. There is a cooldown, so you need to time it out and profit from being a pirate as much as you can. Not only do you make a lot of money and sailors from this, but you also destroy the coastlines of your enemies and even neutral nations, which means that you're gonna have an easier time defeating them, as they will be considerably weaker. You need to remember, however, that the 10 years cooldown is absolutely imperative, and you have to time it. I recommend that you actually write down somewhere so you don't forget that you need to be raiding coastlines. So I appreciate you making it all the way to this part of the video. If you did make it to this part of the video, I assume that you enjoyed the video. So why not subscribe, support the channel, and get more videos like these from me in the future. Subscribe. In the first few years, you want to continue recruiting light ships as well as extra galleys, so you have naval dominance over the Indonesian archipelago. And once you are ready, attack your neighbors. In my situation, they're allied to Pasai, which has been reduced in territory, so I'm going to vassalize Pasai, as well as we'll even maybe take lands for Patani, so I increase my range, and with that I can raid the coastline of Ming. This war should be fairly easy. We're going to be destroying the Jambi army first, followed that by destroying the rest of the armies around. Make sure you assign your god tier admiral, who is also your ruler, and if need be, you can even bring the pirate fleet back home so you can fight together against the enemy fleets. After a relatively short war, we've secured all of these areas here. What we're going to go for first is going to be taking taking these two provinces from Patani, which is a co-belligerent nation, so we're not getting extra aggressive expansion for this. We're also going to pillage their capital, war reps, and cancel one of their rivals to get extra prestige. And booyah, you guys are out. We're going to go ahead and vassalize Pasai now, as having Pasai as a vassal means that we can feed them back their cores in a few moments after we start our war against their enemies here of Delhi. And of course, for Jambi here, we're gonna full-on annex them. We don't want to see any Jambians around us. Don't worry about coalitions, it's just Delhi, Malacca, and Pahang, and we obviously will be attacking Delhi right now. This means you can do the King Under the Mountain mission, which gives you claims on East Java, meaning all of this area here you get claims on. We also can enact one of our government reforms, and I highly recommend you go for Council of Captains, which gives you privateer efficiency plus 33%. Some of the reforms we get with the Pirates Confederacy are insanely overpowered. Don't forget to also attack the nation of Delhi for the reconquest of your cores. I recommend actually before you do this that you start raiding the coastlines all the way into Ming, as we now have the available range from taking these two provinces. And after a quick session of raiding, we are back to attacking the nation of Delhi, which lost one of its alliances, and we can also co-belligerate Kedah, which is great since we want to take some lands here too. We're going to rush for their army, which is apparently still drilling, and we're going to make sure our navies blockade their forts here and destroy whatever navies they might have around. When piecing out co-belligerate nations such as this one, I don't really want to take lands because it would be a little bit too much aggressive expansion, so I'm just going to milk them for some extra pillage capital, trade, war reps, cash, and prestige by canceling their rivals. Afterwards, when piecing out Delhi, I actually want to take all of the lands, even if it is a little bit of extra aggressive expansion. It's not too much and the coalition is actually bearable. It also means that with these lands we have an easier time unifying all of these Sumatran parts. Remember to concentrate development in the newly added lands before you core them up, making it a lot cheaper to core these lands. You also can do the same in Aceh, which is going to give you extra 7 development, and now we can get ready for the next conquest against Siak. Fast forwarding a little bit, we've taken care of Siak, and we also went to war with Sambas because we want to fully annex Sambas for the gold mine that they have. This is going to give us a little bit of a coalition, but not much. However, the main goal of attacking Sambas was to take a province in the nation of Kutai here, which means that we can access all of the Philippines. We're also going to go for pillage capital, of course, and all the other goodies. And because of this, also, it's been 10 years, we can start raiding again, and we can also raid the Philippine Islands at the same time. Fully annexing these guys also is great because we now have our very own gold mine in the province of Pontianak. We're gonna bring our boys back home as well, and we will go on an adventure with the main fleet to start raiding entire coastlines. There you go. Now we have direct access to the Philippines, granting us even more sailors and cash. So we've just attacked Pagaruyung, and because Pagaruyung was allied to the nation of Champa, we can take lands from Champa after we've attacked them here, and we will be taking the northernmost land so that we have access to the entirety of the Ming coastline. Also, when it comes to your privateering fleet, make sure you assign your flagship to it, and you give the +1 trade power per ship and fleet, privateering efficiency +25, and movement on and off ships +33 for your flagship, which will boost your economy considerably from your available light ships. When it comes to Pagaruyung, fully annex if you can. Don't stress about coalitions. It's literally just everybody in the Indonesian archipelago, so nothing we cannot handle. We've got 1,000 ducats, and I've been building like crazy buildings, and I still have 1,000 ducats because privateering and raiding the coastlines is ridiculously overpowered. And with the last vestiges of Champa down, we can take over this area, take the cash, and even concentrate development if we want to get a little bit of extra dev in there. Booyah! Now we can go and raid all of the main coastlines. Of course, we're also going to fully annex Pagayurung and make them a part of our country. Don't care about the coalition because I can easily crush them. I can always get more mercs. I have a buttload of cash, and we're going to get a new rival. Of course, we're going to go with the nation of Brunei since we will be attacking Brunei very shortly. Oh dear lord, we're getting 118 ducats and 2,000 sailors from this one tile. We also can do a couple more of our missions here, namely to get the 1 stability mission. We've also done a few other missions in the meanwhile, and once we've taken over Java, we can take another mission that gives permanent claims until the end of the game. This is actually stackable with another permanent claims one that is literally the same mission. Restore Srijivaya can be done twice. Not sure if this was intended or if it's a bug, but it is insane. And there you go, another 57 ducats. Raiding the coast coastline of Ming also has the amazing effect of increasing their devastation, which lowers the mandate. So that means it's going to make it easier whenever we want to decide to go into Ming if their mandate is lowered. And after another successful raiding run, we've managed to accrue 2,000 ducats, whilst at the same time we are building stuff and we are using a lot of this money to recruit mercenaries, ships, and even keeping our fleet maintenance with a bit of an extra toll since we are over our naval force limit. With that in mind, we are going to be continuing our expansion into Sunda, Majapahit, and so on. The fact that as pirates you can actually raid entire coastlines and get insanely high amounts of cash from both your own religion and different religions means that Palembang is never going to suffer from financial problems or from having too few sailors. We are 10,000 over our sailors maximum because of the amount of sailors we've taken from raiding the coastlines. So with that in mind, when it comes to future expansion, of course, finish off the Malaccan areas, expand into the entirety of the Brunei region or Borneo Island, and take over all of Indonesia and Philippines. Make sure you get one province here and there so you expand your range of raiding the coastlines. After you're able to raid the entirety of India and the entirety of Ming, you're gonna get insanely rich, not to mention once you can reach the Japanese islands as well. Idea wise, you're gonna be a little bit behind with your ideas as you will be using a lot of admin points to core up the newly added provinces, but once you do get your ideas unlocked, I recommend that you go for exploration ideas first if you have the extra diplo points. If not, go for plutocratic, which offers both morale of armies and merchants with extra goods produced, manpower recovery, and other goodies to help out your empire. After exploration and plutocratic, also consider going for religious ideas so you get a CB against the entirety of the world that is not Hindu, which is the majority of the world as only India is Hindu and your Indonesian lands. Trade ideas is also going to come in handy as you will eventually own the majority of the Malaccan trade area, which is the richest trade area in Asia. One more thing to note is that with the extra amounts of cash you have, eventually once you've taken over the monuments such as the one in Bangkok, the one in Angkor, and the two very close ones in Majapahit, or in my case Sunda here, invest in them and develop these monuments so you take full advantage of having these amazing buildings.